Okay, we'll give people a couple more minutes in case they had an issue like mine, and then we'll get started. I'll be right back. In a couple of minutes to get here, we will now call this meeting to order. The Children's Guild DC Charter School Board meeting is now started. It is November 18th, 2024, 6:08 p.m. Start with the public comments. Hope everybody's doing well. Holiday season's coming up. Make sure you are reaching out to people who may maybe thinking that they're not thought about as much. Maybe they're widowers or another situation like that where they're alone, and just hearing somebody giving them a happy holidays is probably going to cheer them up. Let people know they're thinking about them. Mental health is very important this time of year. So I just want to acknowledge that and make sure we're staying on top of that as far as that goes. Open the floor for any other public comments at this time. If anybody has anything they want to say, you can do so at this moment, and I'll acknowledge you. Having heard no other public comments, we'll go through the meeting. We'll review the minutes. And I hope everybody's had a chance to review the minutes from the email that was sent out earlier. I'll give you guys a minute to take a look at that again if you have not. And then if I believe, since I've heard nobody has not had a chance to look at them, we'll go ahead and vote on the approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Thank you. Second on that motion.
Second.
Thank you so much. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye or raise your hand. All those opposed, say nay or thumbs down. All right, looks like the minutes have been approved. And we can go on to our next order of business, which is the principal's report. Mr. Medley, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I will need sharing rights, please.
I think I just gave it to you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so with us tonight, we have one of our admin team members, Ashley Posey, with us. I really thought that it was really important for her to be here to talk about, I saw in the agenda that was sent out last week, a section for enrollment. So she's going to actually talk about that during the principal's report and talk about EdFest and the efforts that we have put in place for recruiting. So sorry, my screen is really slow. Okay, there it is. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So we had a visit from Dr. Davis Walker, sorry, Walker Davis. She is the executive director of the DC Public Charter School Board, and she came in and visited about half of the classrooms. She originally said she was coming by herself. She brought an entourage of people, so we were really expecting one person, but they were about 10. I just wanted to put up her quote. She said, "My visit to tcgdc reminded me why educating our future leaders is so important. Every classroom is filled with potential that is giving every student the opportunity to thrive. I'm grateful for the school's passion and dedication." We are coming up on our 10-year renewal.
Hey, Frank,
Yes.
you've got some sort of like block boxes in front of the presentation. I can't. It's
Oh, let me
blocking
move
part of
this
it
out of
out.
the way.
I don't know if you can tell or
Is that
not.
better?
There, yeah. That's better.
Okay, sorry about that. We are coming up on our 10-year renewal, and we had a high-level overview meeting with somebody from their charter school board about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And they had given us some preliminary dates for us to kind of calendar. And so they will begin pulling data in January of 2025. They told us ahead of time what they will be looking for. So we will definitely be helping them pull that information. There will be a charter board meeting on sometime in June, in which we will meet with them for them to give us the yay or nay to continue our school. And we were thinking about doing some type of 10-year celebration. We haven't really decided what that will look like, but we were thinking about doing something this spring to celebrate the school's 10-year success. So I want to just highlight that this week we are celebrating American Education Week, and we are having different activities going on. So today was our Marvelous Magic Workers Monday. You can see here the staff members that we highlighted and celebrated and honored today. Tomorrow we will celebrate our teachers with our Terrific Teacher Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have invited parents to come into the building with our Welcome Parent Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to be celebrating our therapeutic team. We will be celebrating and honoring our behavior coaches, our TBAs, and admin assistants. And then on Friday, I will recognize and honor our fearless admin team. The students also have a Spirit Week. That's why some of us are still wearing red. It's Wear Red Monday. Tomorrow, it is Sweatsuit Day. Staffing update. So we just recently hired, hallelujah, our second speech language pathologist. She began on November the 4th. Dr. Leek has done an amazing job. Sorry, Dr. D has been doing such an amazing job since she's been back. Apparently, she used to work at the Guild so many years ago, and she returned to join our team. Dr. Leek is our occupational therapist who has, from the beginning,
Quack, quack.
a couple weeks ago, she's
Ooh.
also had to hire 7 additional TAs to accommodate the amount of the number of students we have that are in our SPED classes. Dr. Jackson's going to tell you a little more in a little bit about where we are with testing, and based upon what we see, we will probably need to hire an additional 5 TBAs according to what's in their IEP.
Wow.
So any questions about that information before I turn it over to Ms. Posey, who will talk about the enrollment in EdFest?
Yes, real quick, Jess, put yourself on mute. I think we're hearing some background noise. Just want to make sure.
So sorry.
Okay, Ms. Posey, you're up.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm gonna be really, really quick, but I just wanted to show you guys some historical data and also our current year enrollment and our projections for next year. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but you guys can see that I've gone back and looked at our data as far as attendance and where we were as of December 1st. I didn't do the child count day on these years because typically after our child count day, sometimes we'll have to appeal kids and everything is pretty much solidified by December 1. So I went off of those numbers. And at the bottom, I just wanted to let you guys know that these numbers do include our non-pub students as well. So right now we are currently at 251 students. That's including our 5 non-pubs, and our projection for next school year is 260 students. And if Mr. Mudley, if you could go to the Ed Fest. I'm sorry, did anybody have any questions about that slide? Okay. So Ed Fest. So every year, my school DC does this thing called Ed Fest, and it's pretty much like an in-person school catalog where pretty much every school in the district comes out and they showcase their school. We participate every year. We'll have a table set up, as you can see the pictures from previous Ed Fest that we've attended. We'll have all our knickknacks out there and be able to answer any questions. The thing about it is we don't typically gain a lot of students from FS, but it is just a great way to get our name out there. And like I said, all the students, so they run it twice. They do it for K through 8, I believe, and then 9 through 12 is held on a different day. So obviously we are attending the one that's on the 14th. It's going to be at the Stadium Armory if anybody wants to come out and support.
Thank you, Ms. Posey. Any questions about EdFest or about enrollment?
With regard to
Ms.
enrollment,
Carter. Oh, sure.
I'm sorry, real quick. With regard to enrollment, what percentage of that enrollment is, or approximate percentage of that enrollment is coming from? At one point, were we getting a notable number of migrant students?
Yes. So if you look at last year's numbers, if you can go back to the previous slide, if you look at last year's numbers, 24, 25, that 243, because I took that snapshot on December 1, we got the influx of the migrant students in like late October, early November. So those students were not included in our numbers because they came after the child count day, but they were in fact students of ours on December the 1st.
So
to answer your question, out of the 251, we have about 25 students
that are still
who are,
with us.
yes.
Got it. Okay. And do we think it's going to be about the same next year, or?
No, I don't. I'm not sure exactly what happened that caused all of them to come at the time that they did, but we haven't seen as many as we did during that period. I'm pretty sure that we'll keep the current students that we have, but we had about 48 students that came. So I'm not expecting that amount to come. And furthermore, we are really not doing any mid-year enrollments this year.
So what is going into
right
what is going into the projected increase?
So that's going to come from our efforts during once the enrollment period begins for kindergarten. It's going to begin in December. So that's going to come from our efforts from that in next year's enrollment season. And of course, us retaining as many students as we can.
So just to give you some additional context, Rob. So when we did our audit last year for students, we were at 228 when they pulled the data in October. And so we have, of the 251, 247. So we saw an increase of 20 plus students this year. And we lost about 55 students who were in 8th grade. So we've been really intentional and strategic about getting our name out there and getting additional students to satisfy those holes and those gaps. A lot of the migrant students, because they are undocumented, a lot of the families left to go to other areas like New York, Georgia, and Florida to live with family members because they were assigned temporary housing at SAMU. And so they were given a certain amount of time to find housing, and some of them could not find housing. So we still have some students and families who are still at SAMU, and we do have some who did find some housing and and don't live within 2 or 3 miles of the Guild. A lot of them are in Southeast. And they have their plethora of schools from which to choose, and they decided to continue with the Guild. We also had a couple families move to Maryland, and because they were homeless, we still allowed them to come to school because they had no documented residence. And so some of them have been either coming to our school by metro, or parents are on a moped driving them to our school to get them there.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, and we are really going to be promoting our EL program. So, we're just hoping that we will just have that increase, of students coming in, because we're now starting, for the first time, we really have a robust EL program in place where students are pulled out of classes. And we also use a push-in model to assist students just like we do for our special education classes. So we have something actually in place working out this year for the first time. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Carter and Ms. Knox, who will talk about some school culture for the months of September and October. Ms. Carter.
Good evening. So we've been really busy with different activities and programs we've had and on our past couple of months. First few slides, we were looking at, we had Oktoberfest week, and this was actually on Halloween, and our social committee and activities committee decided to put together, I think this is our second annual haunted house. We had it in the office this year, but these are just, a few staff members in costumes. And you can change the next one. Again, we were able to pass out candy to the students. Our students were able to wear costumes that were appropriate, favorite book characters or historical figures, and or Disney characters or so. And the pictures you see now are the kids upstairs on the middle school floor. And then, we have our wonderful principal in the middle standing there participating as well. Next. And then we had our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. And so within this, we had a door decorating contest. We had the students have some activities. The hallways were decorated. Science fair boards or boards were created. Each classroom was assigned a country. And so they had to do like a little board about the history. As you can see, the students were able to help make, because they had like tostadas. And so we had them chopping and making pico de gallo, and then the lettuce, and putting all things together. They were able to participate in, we brought someone to come in and teach them different dances. They had music playing. As you can see on the picture on the right, and then you see the students here cutting up tomatoes for the pico de gallo. And then the door that you see on the left was done by admin, because we had Spain. And so that was our door to decorate for the main office.
And the lady, sorry, just cut in, at the bottom right, came in and taught our students merengue, salsa, and bachata. And each class kind of rotated in and learned a few steps. And we did this in our media center.
I think it's Ms. Knox.
Ms. Knox?
Good evening. So the slides that you see now, the pictures are from the side-by-side band. The DC police band came and performed at the school, and the kids absolutely loved it. They had an amazing time, and 2 of our students actually got to play with the band at the end, so they really enjoyed that. You can go to the next slide, Mr. Medley. This is our recent honor roll assembly for K through 8. We had a great turnout. A lot of parents came and the kids were very, very excited to get their certificates for Principal's Award, perfect attendance, and their honor roll certificates. And this is first grade and second grade. They voted. They had a mock election, and you can see their voter registration cards. They got their picture taken on their cards. They were very excited to do this activity as well. So the Joe Corby's fundraiser was a big success for the fall. The goal was $3,500. We actually did $4,000. So we did succeed, surpassed our goal. The kids really enjoyed it and the parents loved it as well. We had staff members buy things. And it was a huge success.
Thank you, Ms. Knox.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions about school culture for September, October, and earlier part of November before we talk about discipline? Okay, Ms. Carter, you're up with suspension rates.
So this is our discipline and our suspension data for the past 3 months. And so you see it's August, we first started school. We didn't have any for elementary or middle school. In September, we had no suspensions as well. And then the 2 suspensions that we do have, one was in elementary and one was in middle school for the month of October. These are attendance rates. Giving you last school year's data for 23-24 to this school year's 24-25. In August of last year, we were at 80.51%. This year, we were 89.62%. In September, it was 82.76 for last year. This year, our in-seat attendance was 85.28. And then in October of last school year, we were at 77.34. And then this past October, our attendance rate was 82.25.
Okay, any questions about our suspensions or our attendance?
Looks good.
Yeah, kudos to you guys for keeping the retention up. This is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Jackson, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go over the, of course, as you know, we indicate our SPED levels and our students who are currently receiving special education services. So we currently have 132 students. We'll go over the next slide, which will indicate how the testing is set up. But currently right now, 6 in our level 4, which is considered our self-contained, where our students spend, all of their special education services are with their disabled peers, and we're at 114. Do you all have any questions?
I'm getting a bad connection.
Me too.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and share this until Dr. Jackson
Okay.
comes back
We can
on.
move to the next slide.
Dr. Jackson, we didn't hear anything you said. I think there's some type of poor connection. So I'll just jump in. Since August, we've completed 12 evaluations for our students. Most of those were students who were either put through the SST process last year at the very end of the year that we had to prioritize in testing early in the school year, and or students who were new to our school.
Can you hear me okay?
Okay, I can hear you now.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes or no?
It's okay, I can finish the slide, Dr. Jackson. So we had
Okay,
about
awesome.
12, we had about 12 evals we had to complete. Again, as I said, either students who were left over from last year from the SST process, or students who were new to our school this year, who were within the 30-day review period, that we just kind of had to clean up. And we have about 36 more that are left to complete for this school year. Again, huge number of that is from students who have transferred into our school, who had very poorly written IEPs, or IEPs that just reflected the bare minimum, just to say that they were compliant with it. And so we had a couple of kids who came in with 8 hours, and after having been evaluated, we're given like 27 hours, to be placed in self-contained. And so we kind of question, like, how in the world was that a big disparity? But we're cleaning up a lot of poorly written IEPs that were completed at other schools.
And I also,
if
you can hear me, okay. Yes, I apologize being in Jerusalem, I'm sorry. So it's the other piece of that is that some of the evaluations that we did have, not only in question about the services that students needed to receive, but some of our students came to us with an evaluation needing to be completed in the past year that didn't get it done, and a lot of our students came non-compliant. And so we had to ensure that those students were done. And so as Frank Medley indicated, we're at 36 evals left to be completed for the 2024-25 school year. This is not to include if students go through the SST process, and we'll, at that time we'll determine that students may need special education services, or if a parent requests testing. This is just based on the information that we currently have with their current IEPs.
Yep, it started doing it again, Dr. Jackson.
The two things that I mentioned. And if anyone had any questions regarding.
Yeah, you are super laggy again, Dr. Jackson. If you would like to put that in the chat, that information, I think it'd be great for everyone to read, since we can't quite comprehend. The other caveat before I stop and ask if there are any last minute questions is that if a school starts the eval and doesn't finish it, and they come
the
to
number of
us,
students we currently have,
we have to test them. And so that comes out of our budget.
I just didn't know if anyone had any questions.
Yeah, you were cutting out really badly, Dr. Jackson. If you could type that information in the chat that you just talked about, that would be super helpful.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was typing, and I think it's lagging, so it's like picking up my conversation after.
Okay.
So I was just saying, was there any questions? But you're absolutely right, Frank Medley. Yes, if the evals come to us and they're incomplete, we are responsible for completing the evaluations, although it was the previous LEA who should have.
Does anybody have any other questions for anyone with the information we presented? Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Medley. The next bullet point on our agenda is the Children's Guild updates with Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, there's no schedule updates that I have for y'all. The one thing, and Rob, I realized I left this off the agenda I sent you. So over the last year or so, Frank and Dr. Jackson and Brian and I have been talking about the potential to add a pre-K 3 and a pre-K 4 classroom. And so Brian and I have been trying to keep that off of Frank and let him worry about the school. So Brian and I met with the charter, some of the people that manage the charter renewals, and they suggested correctly that our board should start talking about the potential. So some of what we're thinking is we'd like to add pre-K 4. It'll have to be not next school year, but the next, because it requires notification before June of the year previous. But some of our thinking around that was that by adding the pre-K 4 and then the next year adding pre-K 3, then families could bring their kids to the school and they all be in one place and not have to do a drop off, for pre-K somewhere else and then come to the school and all that. And so we just wanted to make y'all aware that we're having those conversations and see if y'all had any concerns or wanted to weigh in or had any questions about our thinking behind that. So that is one thing I did want to bring up tonight, just make sure we're all aware of.
Do we have adequate space in the place we're in now to do this?
Yeah, there's plenty of space. We've got several classrooms that have become offices or maintenance space or things like that. There would probably be some physical plant stuff we would have to do to make, like you have to have a bathroom in every classroom for pre-K, and we have a few of those, but like there's physical plant considerations that we would have to address.
Okay.
Brian or Frank, were there other considerations that we need to kind of be prepared for?
Well, no, because we kind of just chatted with them around around whether this is something we should do in tandem with the renewal. And of course, we talked about it and we were advised against that and to really make this its own independent ask of the charter board after our renewal is complete. Even previously, Ashley and I have done work in preparation around knowing or getting some of the documentation that is needed for us to start the process. The two young ladies from the charter board sent Hughes and I that information again, and we will start working on that data in the spring. So that we can get anything that is needed to them in a timely fashion, so we can be considered in the not the coming school year, but the following school year, to be able to amend our charter to include pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. And again, it's not something that we're going to, when we amend the charter will request for pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. How we choose to roll out the program again will be contingent on the work that is done to the building in a timely fashion and the need that is presented by the parents in the community as we look at enrollment numbers and things of that nature. So we've learned from our mistakes that sometimes a staggered rollout is much better than a full rollout, because we got slammed back in 2015, and just want to be extremely mindful about not overdoing it to start and doing things in a gradual pace.
I think part of what we talked about was the potential to get 2 pre-K 3 classrooms and 2 pre-K 4 classrooms, but then perhaps we just do 1 pre-K 4 classroom the first year, add a 3, see how it's going, and see if we need the other 2. So just because we get approval doesn't mean we have to do it, as Brian said. But we thought we'd get approved for 4 classrooms total.
And how many students can be in each of these classes? Is there a cap?
No more than 15.
Right.
And there needs to also be a TA as well in the classroom. And as Hughes mentioned, there has to also be a bathroom in the classroom.
So there has to be a bathroom for the 3s. There can be a hallway bathroom for the 4s. So the thought process is going to be, for those of you that have been in the building, is going to be around that main hallway when you first enter the building, where Mr. Medley's office is, and the current elementary school autism classroom is, that has a bathroom, and the kindergarten room that has a bathroom would function as those potential pre-K 3 spaces that has the bathroom already provided in the classrooms. The current first grade and second grade classrooms could potentially be the pre-K 4 classrooms with the hallway bathroom on that main hallway, providing them with their own bathroom space. So again, we'll start working on putting together some renderings to be able to show to you all at the next board meeting in the next quarter, so that you'll be able to have kind of a visual of what it is that we're thinking about doing.
So on its face, this sounds like a good idea. What are some of the, I guess, challenges or, cons of trying to do this besides budget?
Yeah, there really aren't any cons because one, this is something that all of our parents have been asking for since we opened. It's really around the structure of the building and the work that's going to have to be done to make it one, wheelchair accessible, to get the playground installed in the back, to get doors placed in a couple of hallways to separate the pre-K space from the other hallways, because that's just another potential thing that we'd like to get done, and also creating a door on the first floor to the back playground at the bottom of the steps, because we want our pre-K students to have direct access to the playground without having to go up or down any steps, because I know that that's also it wouldn't be the code for what it is that we're looking to do with our pre-K students. So it's really just going to be around the shift that we have to do to the building to get it all approved for the pre-K students.
So Rob, we'll keep you informed as things move forward and decisions have to be made, so that we'll have a record of us talking about it. But it's something that we feel like is important for our community to be able to provide that sort of support.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a big thing going on with DC government as well. They're trying to get preschool. I know our agency is trying to develop areas where we can get pre-K locations. So, yeah. All right, thank you. Any other business that you want to? All right,
Not for me.
great. All right, so the next bullet point we're going to go to is our financial report with Mr. Lou Hubner. Floor is yours, sir.
Well, let me start by introducing my boss. If you guys don't know him, Andrew Simoni. Andy, you want
Yeah,
to share a
thank
few
you.
words?
Sure. Thank you, Lou. Good evening, everyone. Nice to meet you. Hope to meet you in person sometime soon. I joined the Children's Guild about 6 weeks ago and just relocated across the country about a month ago. So I am in Baltimore, and certainly hope to get down to DC as much as possible. But as we're presenting some historical results here, as usual on the financial statements, I wanted to give Lou the chance to present them. He's done a great job in the interim, filling in for the departed CFO, Chris Zimmerman, and he knows these numbers very well and has worked very hard to prepare them. So I'll turn it over to you, Lou.
All right, okie doke. So I'm going to share my screen. We all good? We all see it? Awesome. Okay, so the year is off to a very good start, and I'm not seeing a reason why that would not continue. When we look at revenues for the first quarter, we were at 2,470,000. The budget assumed that we would be at 2,337,000. So we've got a favorable budget variance versus last year. We are up substantially, $455,000. We are going to continue to have a favorable revenue variance, and that is going to drive the financial success of this school for the year. Our count day, as was shared earlier, came to 247 kids versus last year at 230. Given the rate changes per child, as well as the count changes, I'm anticipating that we will see roughly an increase in revenue versus budget of about $800,000, which is super, super powerful, and it will give us an opportunity to surpass the budgetary expectations. When I look at the operating expenses, we came in favorable, and that was most largely due to a favorable variance in payroll in the month of July. That is a one-time phenomenon, so it will not recur. But nonetheless, we had a sizable favorable variance in salaries and fringes that are helping the first quarter. Fundraising is on track. We're going to have clarity by the next board meeting as to what our grant expectations will be for the full year. But the bottom line is that we ended the first quarter at earnings of $62,000, whereas the budget anticipated a loss of $418,000. So round numbers were $500,000 to the good. And we've got favorable revenue stuff coming at us for the balance of the year. Last year, actuals was a loss of $215,000. So again, we're beating last year by $277,000. So overall, this is a wonderful, wonderful way to start the year. Happy to take any questions.
I don't know if I have a question, but I know with the district, we're now in the middle of what they call the One Fund charitable giving pledge season. And I noticed that our school was not on the list of, potential organizations that can be donated to. One of the things, and I think it's a fairly easy process for us to get on that list. But from the literature that I was reading, the first point of business is to go to the onefund.dc.gov, which I just put into the chat, and just request that we get on it. I don't know if that would be you that would try to do that, but somebody should try to get us on that list so that we can have people pledge, a portion of their salaries every 2 weeks to Children's Guild, especially with the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, Brian and I definitely can get on top of that. That makes a lot of sense. I appreciate you saying that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hovner, for that report. Things looking very good. Hopefully it will continue. And I guess we will have that part of that con satisfied with the creating of the new pre-K4, and eventually pre-K3 situation at our school. So that's great. So we'll move on to other business. That was really the only thing. The onefund.dc.gov was the only thing that I really had to bring up. But is there any other things from you, Mr. Medley, or anyone else, I guess?
No, I just put in the chat that we started our canned food drive and our coat drive. So anyone who's willing to help with that, we are accepting donations for we're giving away about 36 baskets next Tuesday for our families in need. And so we are in need of non-perishable items. We're looking at canned corn, green beans, peas, rolls, instant potatoes, macaroni and cheese, those types of things. And we are in desperate need of coats for our bigger kids, like our middle school. They continue to come to school without coats on. You know, like kids my size. And so we I know that Mr. Daniels had a connection with the Masons last year. We're trying to reach back out to them. But we would really like some support with that if anybody's willing to help out or can point us in a direction to partner with.
Do we have flyers or something that we can post on our socials?
So I can have Ms. Canfor share those, put those in the chat.
Hey, Frank, if you want to send me the flyer, and like one of the things that we do on another board is like send me the next quarter, the events that you have, because we won't be meeting again till after Christmas. So if you could send me your schedule of events, then I can send that out to all the board members so that they'll have, you know, in case they want to stop by, and they'll have sort of the school schedule.
Okay, I believe Ms. Canfor shared the November calendar at the end of October.
Okay.
Can you, is that true, Ms. Canfor?
Yes, but I can resend everything over to you in an email so you can have access to everything as far as the fundraisers, the monthly calendar, the spirit weeks, and all the activities that we have coming up.
Perfect. Thank you.
Also with that flyer, I know one thing that's kind of easy to do is creating a QR code that can be put on the flyer, and maybe people can just scan it and donate just right from there. So hopefully, you know, that's something we can also incorporate.
Sure thing.
All right, anybody else have any business that they want to raise at this point? Having heard none, for the good of the order, we will conclude today's meeting. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you at the next meeting coming up in, I think January or
Yeah,
February, one of the two should be. But we'll see you then. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a good
y'all.
one.
Have a great holiday, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Happy holidays, everyone.